We're gathering up a couple people, but we are not going to wait more than another few seconds, and we're going to rock and roll.
I was busy tracking down an old college buddy who's in the real estate space. I had no idea.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I never went to college, so I don't have any college buddies. I feel out of place. I don't know what to do with that.
You can go back to high school buddies, and it's all good.
I've got like 3 or 4 high school buddies that are in real estate.
As soon as I get home, I'm from my computer, if that's okay.
Stephanie, is that you? Yes, of course. You can switch. By the way, if you don't know, there's a device on your Zoom where you can switch between phone and your computer. You can actually hit a button and say switch, and bam, you can switch. So you can transfer. People figured out during the last 2 years of COVID that they had to be on the run and they couldn't just sit there, so they made that happen. So, hey, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. It's afternoon where I am. It's morning for many of you, and I don't know how many we've got in Hawaii, but it's pretty early morning for those in Hawaii. So we're excited to have all of you here. And I'm sure the team will manage the new people coming in, please. So I don't have to even think twice. We've got our coaches here, -1. I'll tell you that story in a second. And we've got a whole bunch of people that are going to be part of the Gateway to Mastery Winter 23 coming up on the 24th of January and following. And we're going to be working really hard through the month of, at least through much of March, to make this year 23 really different, because we're going to focus on marketing. So I'm going to, first of all, do some quick introductions, and I'll have them come back and talk in just a few minutes. But so let me start off with the most obvious, the brilliant mind and the beautiful soul in my life, Allison Gaddy. She's traveling without, it was a kind of an unplanned trip, and she is traveling today. So she is not going to be here with us today, but you will see her on the classes starting on the 24th. Then of course we have, in no particular order, I like 2 of these 3, but I won't tell you which 2. And I've got next to me, at least in my Brady Bunch gathering, I've got this guy by the name of Dustin Olson. So Dustin, good to see you here, buddy. Nice to have you back involved in the Gateway. I always love your insights. What's going on?
Yeah. Not much. At least we don't have rolling blackouts here in Tennessee anymore. We're doing good. But if that happens, and if I cut out, you know what happened.
Well, trust me, if there's anybody that's got unstable internet, or generally unstable, it's me. So where I am, you never know if you're going to have internet or not. So good to have you here. Of course, Dustin has a marketing background. I won't give you too much of that, but he's got a marketing and design degree, and he was a really nice fit into this whole scheme of the Gateway to Mastery, which we'll talk about in just a second. Of course, we've also got next to him, at least in my Brady Bunch piling, we've got a guy by the name of Andrew Smith. Andrew, buddy,
yes,
good to have you here. How are you?
Doing great, loving it. Good to be back, and excited for what we've got in store for everyone coming up this spring of 2023. Amazing. So looking forward to it.
I know it is. And Andrew and I have a little bit of history. We originally were doing things together as I was kind of his early day coach back in 2000 and something, 2 or 1 or something like that. Three. So quite a while. We've had a long-standing relationship, and I'm always glad to have him in my world. He's an incredible human being, as is Dustin Olson. And the third coach, who was not part of last year's course, a guy by the name of Coach Russ Collio. Russ Collio is here. Say hey, Russ.
Well, hey, yeah, I was here for our launch in 2020 when we started this Gateway to Mastery thing that's growing. And
yep.
Thank goodness everybody on this call knows that prospecting is the key, and we are going to be doing a deep dive on those conversations. Prospecting.
Oh, and the debate starts right off, and if you can't
dial till your fingers bleed, people.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna describe to you a little bit more about that. But let me tell you, first of all, and of course, I'm Don Hobbs, in case you didn't know that, but that's okay, you might not. And I'm kind of the I won't say the total author of this because it's been authored by a lot of these guys, and everybody's got their piece of it. But I will say that it's kind of my configuration, and this has been my gig for a long, long time. So let me tell you just a little bit about the Gateway to Mastery. Some of you have been in it, so you already kind of know what to expect. Although my greatest joy would be to have things that surprise the heck out of you. And of course, you know, one of my longstanding friends and clients who's going to be in this again with us this time around said to me, I feel like I'm in a different place. And I said, yeah, you're in a different place, and the course is in a different place, and the reality is you're going to have a very different experience. So I don't anticipate just because you've been here before that you've actually experienced this program with this group and these coaches and all of that. So we're looking forward to being with you. Gateway to Mastery was a bit of a throwback to the mid 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. And in 2010, I retired from a company called Hobbs Advertising. Matters not to you. It is insignificant in the world as of today, but very significant in the world of real estate during that era, during those times. And we had a branding company, a marketing company. We eventually built to be 150 staff members. We had a big team of marketers. We were building some of the coolest marketing stuff, and it was all in the real estate space. And one of the premises that kind of started us off was the fact that in real estate, when you've got, you know, I just heard yesterday, I don't know how true it is, that there's now, Russ, 19,000 agents in the city of Austin, Texas, which shocked the heck out of me, right? No matter where you go, there's a lot of agents. You go to Portland, Oregon, there's a lot of agents. You go to Dallas, Texas, Andrew, a lot of agents. And the big question that we entertained at that time was, how do you stand out? How do you make yourself known? How do you get yourself seen? Not in a braggadocious way, like, look at me, look at me, look at me, but in a way that was really, how do we build relationships one to many? How do we get people, instead of having to do what Russ and no doubt Andrew will be debating, how do we avoid having to be on the phone, pounding the phone until, as Andrew said, your fingers bleed? How do we avoid having to do that for all of our life? And of course, what you discover is there are people that do that, and Russ is a great example, by the way, of just masterful skills in that arena, which is why he's teaching part of the course. But what I know is that then sometime you wake up in your business and go, wow, I still have to do this. I'm 10 years in, I still have to do this because I really haven't built a business. What I've done is I've done some business. And that is the premise behind where we started the Gateway to Mastery. Actually, we had a program called the Gateway. When we stepped into the modern version of this 3 years ago, we called it Gateway to Mastery. And what I'm really proud of is the way the design of this program allows for people to take it, to digest it in small parts. We did a 3-day dump back in those days, a 3-day dump. You got everything all one time, and it was like, good luck, we'll see you in a year when we come back to this city. And I hope it worked out well for you. And in this course, the thing that I like so much about it is that it gives you a chance to work through it. And while you're working through it, while you're building your stuff, while you're doing your things to make your brand and your marketing strategy and all the things that we're going to teach you and help you with, you've got this group to bounce ideas off with, and you've got all these great coaches who are going to be in it with you, all of us here for you, to make sure you're getting the results you want. And over a period of 8 weeks, we're going to make sure that you start, you know, with the right foundation, the right basics, the right things, and go all the way through what we believe is at least a launching point. Now, it won't be the end. It's sort of a beginning of another time frame. So I'm going to stop there for just a second. You know, Andrew, I'm going to come back to you. You rode along with me back in the early 2000s. You've become a student of this. When I look at your brand through years, I've watched you adjust it. I've watched you step into new cities. I've watched you tackle, you know, new things. I mean, I think you're a great example of a marketing mind and a marketing mindset in the real estate space. Talk to these people about, first of all, your background, your experience, and why you're here, what you see for the Gateway.
Yeah, great. So as you mentioned, I mean, we first met at one of your events in 2003. And the thing that struck me when I went through that is, prior to real estate, I had a consulting background in business, kind of helping companies grow. And as I got into real estate for the first few months, I'm looking at the way everything was being done. And for me, it just didn't make sense. I'm like, I don't see how this is sustainable. I don't see where this is going to go. And, lo and behold, you guys came into our office. I ended up going to one of your events, and I'm like, well, look at this. This does make sense. So it was interesting because then, as I was going in through I just finished my first full year and I'd done well. And so I remember talking to you at the event. I said, I've just done really well this first year. Why exactly do I need you? It was, a pointed question, and your answer was great. You go, you don't, but do it again and then come talk to me. And, and I'm like, okay, I get that. So I think the interesting thing about that back then is what we're going to be sharing with people now as we go into 2023. Because as Russ mentioned, we launched this in 2020, right? And at that point in time, it was a bit like shooting fish in the barrel. And now all of a sudden transaction counts are down. And, the agents that aren't necessarily new, who've been in the business 4, 5, 6 years, haven't experienced a market like we're moving into. And so how do you separate yourself? How do you become the trusted resource? How are you the one that it's not just a matter of showing up and saying, yeah, I'll write the contract for you. How do you navigate this? How do you draw people in? And, those are the principles that I was able to apply, with your help, with your company's help, to build things up. And at that point in time, once you know the game plan, you can basically duplicate it anywhere that you go. The concepts don't change. You have to adapt, obviously, some of the stats, some of the things of what you're doing to your local market. But the idea of, it's kind of like, you talk to the people that are multi-millionaires many times, and they said, if you took it all away from me now, I wouldn't care because I already know how to do it. So I'll just do it again. And so that's the concept here. And that's what we want to take people through this program, is laying those foundational principles out so that you can build something sustainable, start attracting business to you, and separate yourself now in the market that we're heading into, when people are going to be looking for that expertise more than ever.
Well, I think that's dead on. And, I can't tell you how many times I talk to coaches, and I don't mean just these coaches. We have a lot of great coaches involved with expert partners, and we have a lot of coaches in our lives. I mean, I've just been in the coaching space for a long time. And one of the things that is just a common conversation these days, as it pertains to real estate, is the fact that there are a lot of people, and I shot a video a couple of days ago about this, that are, sorry guys, it's not insulting, it's just kind of a look at the industry, and that is, there's a lot of agents that have been in the business for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, even 7, 8 years, that are pretty unskilled in the overall scheme of things, because they just walked through what's been a very good market. And of course, who would have known that a pandemic would strike in March of 2020, and that instead of it turning the market down, it turned the market up to the best market. And I remember I say this every so often because I have to remind people, when we say the best market in history, it's like, no, we're not talking like generally or just as a phrase. It's like, it was the best market in history. So if you did really well during that time, yes, I'm glad for you, but don't be patting yourself on the back going, I made big bucks, I made really great success. There was a lot of things going on, and anybody, we could say, who could fog a mirror was doing business. Now, a lot of business, a little business, that was up to the individual. But I will say, Andrew, one of the things that I appreciate you the most is you've been through the market cycles. You've been through ups and downs. And again, what you said that's most important, I think, to these people, as I'm listening to you, is it's about building a sustainable business. It's not about getting business. It's not about doing business. It's not about getting a deal. And for most agents, they stay in that rhythm of, I'm looking for the next deal. I'm looking for the next deal. I'm looking for the next deal. And they live in scarcity instead of an abundance. And they live in a place of looking for survival instead of looking at growth and the real opportunity. And what we're going to show you all is not over the next 8 weeks, because we're not starting yet, but once we start on the 24th, what you're going to discover is we're going to show you what's possible. And the truth is you are in a legitimate 7-figure business. There are agents who are in the 8-figure category. You understand that means $10 million and more in commissions. There are people already making that. So you're in a very lucrative business. And the question is, are you taking advantage of it? Are you doing what it's going to take to make that happen? And of course, if it's not $1 million that matters to you, it's making 300,000, or it's having a lifestyle that allows you to do what you want to do. Listen, it's all about your goals, not ours. I'm just saying your potential is greater than you know. So I'll stop there. And I want to show a couple slides before we leave today, but I'm going to jump over to you, Dustin. We're going to get the marketing side pushed out here real quickly, and then we're going to go to Russ. You joined the team, and I remember, hearing you've been pushing marketing to your coaching clients for years. You think this way. You love marketing. What's your impression of the Gateway, and what does it represent to these people?
Well, first of all, I'm lazy. That's why I like marketing, because I like people to come to me rather than prospecting and physically going out and making my fingers bleed or knocking on the doors. And even Gabriel and I were talking about this morning. He actually brought this up. He's a young buck and in his 20s, so he hasn't been seeing any of the downturns, but he even wrote on his coaching call, back to the basics. And I'm like, yes, you get it. But a lot of these agents have completely forgotten to do even the basic things in real estate, especially even marketing. Everybody just throws out a just sold and thinks it's good, and nobody really cares, right? And I think a lot of the time people get confused about advertising versus marketing, and we've lost sight of really the platinum rule these days, not the golden rule. It's treat people how they want to be treated, not how we want to be treated. We just, are so used to the come list me, or we just show up and throw up, right? Is what they call it in sales, of everything that we think that person wants to hear. But it's really about getting back down into the roots and being your authentic self. I mean, authenticity is one of the most powerful emotions that we can gauge. And women, technically, statistically, factually, are better at it. They're better at gauging authenticity, right? This is why they make better stock traders. They can read the emotions much better than the guys can. But I think getting back to the basics in marketing, and even that's going to come down to, how we tell our story, or at least even getting back to even doing flyers that people don't throw into the trash as we bring our authentic selves, is going to be a game changer these days. But again, I'm in marketing because I'm lazy. And if you do it right, people come to you. It's amazing.
All in favor of people calling you and coming to you and come list me, say aye. Or amen. Let's get an amen on that one. That's so fun. I love that. Well, you certainly add color to the group, and you've got some really interesting backgrounds that we will lend. And Coach Andrew will be. Somebody's mic is open. Can we fix that? Or maybe not. Are we getting feedback? Is that?
That might be you, Don.
That's interesting.
It got fixed. That's the important part, Don.
I hear you. So let me come to you, Russ. I want, oh, by the way, before we leave marketing, I want to ask something, because, marketing may not work in every market. So I just want to make sure that you're all in markets that qualify. Could all of you do me a quick favor, put in the chat box. I see Rocio's here in Brazil. I think she's in Brazil right now, and it's 2:30 in the PM over there. But wherever you are, could you just put that in the chat box and just put the city that you're in, the area? And we're going to do a quick check, make sure that marketing is going to work in your area. Andrew, look at all the towns, make sure that it's going to be okay. Dustin, see anything that's not going to work for us? Charlotte's questionable, Jody. I think it'll work there. It'll work there.
I just want to put
okay.
in, based on what I've experienced with you guys, that every city I've seen, marketing will not work. Quality marketing done to the right audience will work.
Oh, I see. I see what you're thinking. By the way, I'm still going through all these places. Where is Corning, California? I'm a Californian. I don't know where Corning, California is. I
Is
don't know
that
if it's gonna work in
Amador
Corning.
County, Michelle?
Where's Michelle?
Corning, California, Michelle, turn your mic on.
Hi, yes. Corning, it's like by Chico area.
North End. Okay.
The north side. I'm
I've
up
heard
here
about
in
Chico State. I know about Chico State. There's some serious party animals. I don't know if that's what took you up there, but
they
Hey,
are.
Don, that was back in
Pretty
the 80s,
wild.
buddy.
I try to avoid Chico, on the weekends at night.
and Lori Cox says Corning, California is where I buy pickled hot veggies. So I don't know what that totally means, but apparently you might know what that means, Michelle. All right, so Terry just confessed that she went to Chico State. She and her husband. I can only imagine. I'm not going to even get into the conversation, Terry. We're not going to go there. All right, so let's go back. I want to introduce you to Russ Collio. Russ Collio and I got a chance to meet each other a few years back, actually, and I think it was 2014. We were building a coaching company together as part of the Keller Williams world. It really wasn't in Keller Williams per se, but it was in their world, their arena. And we got a chance to work together. And what really impressed me about this man is he had become a coach. And I know a lot of coaches. And he had become a coach in a very specific program. And if any of you have an experience or you're with currently Keller Williams, that's all great. We love that. You might know of the BOLD program, and he was a BOLD coach. And I remember thinking to myself that, when I listened to their schedule, and I actually auditioned or sat through auditions with people trying to become BOLD coaches. I watched people get the gig and I watched people get turned down for the gig. It was hard. And I remember thinking to myself, this is like the freaking Navy SEALs of coaches. Like coaches are, they throw up a shingle and they go, I'm a coach, and they become coaches. These people, they had to go through a lot. They had to go through a lot, and finally became full coaches. And this guy moved his entire life and did things that were unbelievable. In fact, he was anointed as a coach, only to find out that because he was not actually in the real estate space, that he wasn't going to qualify after all. And he moved to Austin, Texas, and started a brand new market. And Russ, I'll let you pick the story up from there, okay? So tell us how that transpired, but why that brings you to the place that you are in the Gateway to Mastery.
Absolutely. So I'll give you kind of the 60-second CNN version. November 9th of 2012, made a decision that I was going to pursue becoming one of the BOLD coaches. And in the next 60 days, liquidated every single one of my business assets, real estate assets, relocated my family to Austin, Texas, where Keller Williams was based, all prior to even auditioning for the role. The auditions were February 13th. Passed the auditions, went through a lot of the psychological profiling that they do. And in April of that year, April 2013, got together with the director who said, hey, we got to get your paperwork done. He slides over and I see the top and it says, all BOLD coaches will have 75 transactions a year for 3 years minimum. And I looked at Sean and said, Sean, I'm not a real estate agent. I was in a totally different industry. I'd sent him videos of me teaching, training, and coaching from national stages. He never asked the question. I never asked the question. In April of 2013, I got to go back to my wife and say, well, you remember that income I was talking about? We got to go a different direction. And so I immediately got my real estate license in Texas, didn't know a soul, and in 90 days had 25 listings and closed over 75 units my first year in real estate. All by doing the grind. So first and foremost, for all of you that have been in real estate 5 years or less, you've been order takers. let's be honest. You've had a great market where you get to take orders. You didn't actually have to do the true core business disciplines of real estate. This new market, you get to do that. And I want you all to write this down. You'll hear it from me over and over again. Every one of us are paid in direct proportion to the number of conversations we have. That's number one. Number two, we're paid in direct proportion to the quality of conversations we have. So the two things I want you to be thinking about is quantity and quality, and you're going to start quantity first. When we're teaching a little guy to play baseball, we don't have him take one swing off the tee and then go, okay, here's all the things you need to change. It's swing after swing after swing after swing. And I came into Gateway to Mastery in 2020, screaming from the rooftops, it's all about the prospecting. And I'm not going to necessarily let go of that because it's a fun conversation I get to have with the other folks on the team. And I want you to look at it through this lens. The marketing piece that they're doing in golf is the long game. It is the long game that they're playing. And the prospecting and the conversation piece is the short game. And yes, if you have a great short game, you can be dominant. And you can be dominant over and over and over, and yet you can't really play the full course just having a solid short game. And I get that now. Yet it's still more important, and I will dig my heels on that. So for everybody on this call, if you are already hitting your magic pending number, and we'll talk about that in the room, you get to the magic pending number and you're there, by all means, we're going to put more and more effort in on the marketing, promotion, development of that piece side and getting it out there. And yet for many of you on this call, you don't have the revenue right now. You're not in a place where income is flowing and you're at a comfortable place with your business. And so in that case, we can crank up the conversations by outbound conversations, prospecting, get that revenue in, get you some comfort, and then by all means focus on using the rest of these guys' information to drive inbound conversations and crank the numbers up that way. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to learn a lot about how the mind works, how language works, and we are going to crank the next 90 days and get you guys into massive production. Don, back to you.
We are absolutely going to do all of that. And some of you have played with us before, so you know what that looks like. I'm going to urge you to play even more all in than you've been in the past. By the way, I just thought I'm coming over to you, Coach Andrew. I just saw that Giselle's here, and she's a friend of mine in Glendive, Montana. You can look it up on the map. It's pretty tiny. Will marketing actually work there? I just want to just look it up, and then you can tell her if marketing's going to work there. Okay, just check it out. I'm kidding. Marketing
I'm
work
pretty
anywhere?
sure. I'm pretty sure we'll be good.
Marketing is going to work anywhere. Giselle, great to see you. I'm glad you're on the call. I looked up and went, oh, Giselle's here. I see Jody.
You know what
Denimore.
else
I've
will
got
work
some
there,
friends.
Don?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, lead
They don't have
generation.
phones there, Russ.
So let's talk a little bit about what this whole thing is going to be like. First of all, we're real excited to have you all. You've got some great coaches. Allison will add a dimension of a different kind in the marketing strain. She's done some big things and comes from film production and all kinds of things that really add a very different dimension than the rest of us. Plus, she's just so bubbly and energetic and all of that. So she'll be pouring into us a lot. And of course, we are absolutely going to be together for 7 straight weeks of 3 classes a week. And the last week, there's only one class. It's actually a workshop. So we're going to start on the 24th of January. We're going to go to the 24th, 25th, and 26th. Let me tell you what a week looks like. What a week looks like is the first day we're going to do a course on marketing. That will happen every Tuesday. You'll get a course on marketing. And that program is done by all 4 of the marketing coaches, not Russ, but the 4 of the marketing coaches. And that program will have all kinds of things about how to set up your thinking about what is it you're really doing. I mean, I think Andrew talked about this idea of this big picture. Like, it didn't make sense to him in the business world that real estate agents did what they did, because it's not the way business works. The way business works is, you launch a product and you see it on TV or you see it advertised, And before too long, we're going, I've been wanting to try that. And pretty soon we try it and we go, I love this product. And we go from, I've never heard of it to, I want to try it. I love it. And that's what's going to happen with you. And we want to set you up so that you actually start thinking like a business, start thinking like you're the product. By the way, you are, write that down. You're the product. And as long as you're the product, remember that you're going to have to learn how to intelligently market you. Put yourself out there, get yourself seen. Now, that said, we are going to, on Wednesday, change the course of action. On Wednesday, you're going to meet with Coach Russ. I'll probably hang out with you guys because I love the conversation and I love that particular day. But you're going to learn about how to have great conversations. Because listen, even if we have inbound, unless they're complete, Andrew, we still have to converse with people. We still have to know how to cover things, what to say. And Russ is going to help us with that conversation. He's going to help us with the way that we talk to people. He's going to talk about some of the things that are related to, some of you might have heard of neuro-linguistic programming. There's a lot of things that we can teach you about how to have better, more intelligent, more directed, more focused conversations. And of course, Russ made an awesome point, and that is, while branding and brand building takes time, you can start prospecting tomorrow. So if we start strategizing about what we're going to do, and we're going to start branding ourselves, and we start thinking about our target market, and that's going to be one of the courses, and we think about how we're going to write our story, that'll be one of the courses, and we're going to go through all that stuff. It takes time. That's the building process. And even if we launch it at the end of 90 days, even if we launch it at the end of 8 weeks, even if we do that, how long does it take for it to impact people? How long before people see you repetitively? How long before people call you and say, hey, we see your stuff all the time. You're the only obvious choice for us. You're our realtor. How long does it take for that to happen? And in the meantime, you have no income stream coming in. And we want to make sure that you've got plenty going on. So while we're teaching marketing, we're going to have Russ loading up, and you're going to be actually making calls. You're actually going to be loading up your own lead generation. You're not cold calling. I don't believe in it. I don't know that Russ is going to try and shove that down your throat, but you are going to be calling people that you know, like, and trust, and who probably know, like, and trust you and haven't heard from you. Sometimes for weeks, sometimes for only days, sometimes for years. And you're going to make contacts. And then on Thursday, we're going to do the same time. Again, it's an hour and a half each day, 90 minutes. And on Thursday, we're going to have a workshop. Sometimes we go to what we call hot seats, where we're going to take somebody in particular and work their thoughts and ideas and help them build something. And what does that do? It lets you see how we think about adjusting a marketing situation, whether it's the target market or getting clarity around a target market or telling a story or a brand or any of that. And in fact, I'll stop here real quickly. When we work with people, and Andrew and Dustin, we're even working with people in the Facebook group. What are you looking for? Like, what do you comment about? What do you do with people?
It's just, it's almost like, I guess the best way to say it, it's almost like the bumpers on a bowling alley, right? I mean, it's like, you want people to explore and get clear on what it is that they're trying to achieve. And then you just kind of help bring them back to center, right? And say, okay, that's good, but what if we just did this tweak? So, it's like taking a little one out and having them throw that ball down the lane. It drifts a little bit too far to the right or too far to the left. That bumper is going to bump it back so it stays and it makes sure it's heading in the right direction. And that's the way I kind of look at it and do it. So, there's a lot of what we've seen from past gateways is there's just a ton of great ideas, and there's a ton of things that people come up with that, we may not have known about them ourselves. I mean, we can't know everyone at that, level of detail. I mean, that story that you just said on Russ, that's the first time I'd heard it in that way. And I mean, all I'm thinking about is, man, talk about burning the boats, right? I mean, that's Absolutely. It. I mean, talk about being all in. So guys, take that, with you as you move forward in this, because that's what it's going to be about, that level of commitment in everything that you do. And we're going to help keep you on course and on track every step of the way as you kind of explore this within yourself. And you're capable of more than you think. It's just a matter of getting that out of you.
By the way, Andrew, did you see the comment from Lane about, are you using a green screen? He hasn't seen your dog move in like 2 years.
I know. I think it was Russ that when we did a like a pre-call was a month or so ago, and it was like he's like, man, that dog hasn't moved in a while. The dog is comfortably sleeping right now, but I guarantee you she's very alive, and she's being good right now.
Actually,
that's
what
awesome.
he said, he hasn't seen that dog move in 2 years was the exact quote. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
That's awesome. Well,
She
listen,
opened her eyes.
yeah, Albert, we love dogs. Yes, we do. Okay, so listen, we've got some rules that we're gonna live by together, and I'm gonna start this. By the way, I see somebody whose name is Zoom user, and then in the small print it says Zoom user again. So I don't know who that is, but between now and the time that we get together for the program, I'd love it if you could change that to your name, and also all of you, if you would turn your videos on. So if we're going to be in class together, it's very hard to do a listing presentation, if you can imagine this, where they are in the kitchen and you're in the living room and you can't see them. And that's the equivalent of what you're doing. Thank you for turning your video on. Just saw you go on, Estelle. So yes, we want all your videos on, and I would just ask that you guys be fully committed. And by the way, not traveling, not driving and trying to drop in. This is a pretty important deal. And what you want to do is make sure that you are absolutely in the class. Now, are there exceptions? Yes, some of you have told me in advance, I'm going to miss a class. I get that. We're going to record it. It'll be posted in the Facebook group. By the way, the first day, Tuesday, it's Facebook Live in our Facebook group. If you are not in our Facebook group yet for this, you need to reach out to Maria Villalobos or Villalobos, and Maria will make sure that you're in that group. If you go to Maria, maybe you can talk to that. Where do they need to go? How can we help them get involved in the group? Because they can't see the class unless they're in there. What do we do?
Yeah, so everybody should be able to, I can reach out to them on Workplace. I can communicate with everybody through there. I also have been communicating with everybody, setting reminders for all of our events, including today's meeting through text.
Well, it's going to happen through Facebook, actually, because Workplace, there's people that aren't on Workplace. There's people that, if they're not on Facebook, they're in trouble, because we're going to be talking about Facebook marketing. So let's make sure that again, they need to get into Facebook. So what do we do to make sure that they're in that group?
We'll add the Facebook link in our chat in just a second, and then we can all communicate through there as well. Okay,
perfect. And we will not allow people into the group that are not part of the course. So if you have a friend and tell them, hey, come to the group, they're not going to get in unless they're part of the course. So this is kept very private. So this is only for you guys. And we're going to be watching your homework, watching the things that you're doing, and participating with you all the way through. But I really want to make sure that when you get to the place where you are in class, your videos are on and you're tuned in. Again, we're going to record it. It'll be posted for you. And then by the time we get to that Sunday or Monday, we take that video down. We record Wednesday. It goes up for a couple days and then it comes down. So you won't be able to just say, oh, I'll catch up. You won't catch up. So you need to catch up on a weekly basis. If you're going to be missing something, you're traveling, you're doing whatever, I understand completely. You've got a kid thing going on, you got a family thing going on. We love that. God, family, then business. I love that. And you know in advance what these dates are, put those things in place, put it on your calendar, and hold these times as sacred. This is what you're doing. I also want to address one other piece, and that is, you know, when you come into a program, we've got programs that we do coaching programs where we actually charge, our highest right now is $280,000 for the coaching. And I'll tell you that when people pay, they pay attention.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that again? I think that's very important for people to know the value of what they're getting.
Yeah, $280,000 for a 6-month program, actually an 8-month program. But my thanks, client. But what I want you to hear, and what I want you to hear is this: when people pay, they pay attention. When people pay more, they pay more attention. And what I've known is some of you aren't, you didn't have to hurt to pay for this. Like it wasn't hard. It wasn't thousands. It wasn't tens of thousands. And so the obvious thing is, I mean, I had people that used to pay $1,000 and book their hotel rooms and book their flights and all that, and then skip all of it to say, hey, a client came into town, I had to do what I had to do. Honest to God, guys, you have to set your priorities. You're in charge of your business. You have to decide what's going to be your priorities. And while this is not a short-term kill, this is your future. This is the business building process that's going to help you absolutely build something substantial. And to use either Andrew's words or Coach Dio's words, Dustin's words, it's sustainable. We're going to help you build a sustainable business. Most of you don't have one right now. Most of you don't. And what the problem is that you don't see the challenge. And what I know is that as this market has shifted, you're going to feel the greater and greater and greater pressure of not having built a sustainable business. You're in the stages where right now it's critical for you to really step into this, really build something, really grow something, really have a group of people that consider you as their realtor. I asked the question first, probably in 19 something or other and probably late 80s or early 90s. And I said to a group, and I remember saying it, I just don't know when it was, but I remember saying, is it possible you could be somebody's realtor before they need one? I don't know if anybody had ever thought of that before. That question didn't really enter into people's minds. What we did to be somebody's realtor was we advertised houses and people called in on houses and we sat on floor time like a car lot and we waited for calls to come in and we hoped for business. And that's the way real estate got done. And we came along and said, no, that's not it. That's not a business. That's a sales career. That's not a business. So what I want you to get is right now you have a chance to build something that has rarely been built. There are very few realtors. I use the phrase a lot to build a marketing-based business. And I can't tell you how many times people go, oh, yeah. No, I use Zillow leads. I buy Zillow leads all the time. I'm like, that is anything but a marketing-based business. That's them marketing. That's them winning. That's not you winning. That's a sales job. That's calling on leads, which, by the way, let's open the phone book. We have almost the same chances. So what I'm going to suggest to you is that this is a very different way of thinking and doing business. And I want to have you hold yourself accountable to the fact that you're going to need to show up and really show up. And there's going to be homework. Oh my gosh. Andrew, there's homework. I mean, some of these people haven't done homework for 10 years or 20 years.
Homework. No. You can't have homework. It's just done for you, right? It just magically happens. Yeah. Don't do your homework. So just call more people tomorrow.
Right. So we're going to give you things to do, and homework may be a really nasty word for some of you that didn't like doing it in school and aren't going to like doing it here. So what have we just said? You're going to have things to work on after class, and the extent to which you devote yourself to that and the commitment that you make to it is going to be really important. And you're going to read a poem.
If they don't do their homework, what's the punishment, Andrew?
Oh my gosh, what would be a good punishment?
100 more outbound calls.
I was going to say, it's got to be something with you, right? That's awesome.
That's actually funny, Russ. Actually, the course that Russ used to teach, if you didn't do your homework, what did they do in that course, Russ? What was the outcome of that?
If you didn't do it over a couple of different days, depends on what you didn't do. Even though you gave us $800 of your money, we kicked you out of the class.
Right.
You were saying, yes. I had one particular agent in LA dig her heels in, and I had to drag her senior leadership in to drag her out of the room. She was done. She didn't do the work.
Yeah. So we haven't promised that we're going to do that.
How different would your life be if over the next 90 days you play all in, checking every box, and you just follow the model and do the work? Because it's worked for Don, it's worked for Andrew, it's worked for me. just follow the steps. Yeah. How different 90 days could your life be? I want you to just think about that. Don, go.
No, Russ, that's a great point, but also, it's about the discipline of doing it, right? Because the truth is the homework's going to keep going long after the course is finished. You're always researching what's going on in the market. You're always looking at a way that you're going to add a piece or do something different and have that there. And it's just like, it's kind of like, we've joked being back in school. Well, I'll just copy the homework off the person next to me. Then you get to the final and you're like, oh my, I've never seen this before. And you're kind of lost. It's the same way here. You got to keep evolving, keep doing it, get into that habit and that practice, which is what this is going to do. So it's about changing behaviors as much as anything else, as you just mentioned. If you do that, how much is that going to impact your life?
So let's open it up for some questions. By the way, we did a complete check while you guys have been listening. And every town that you live in, every area that you come from qualifies as a market where marketing will kick butt. So just so you know, you all qualify. It's going to be awesome. Somebody just invite a non-EXP agent. This has nothing to do with Keller Williams or EXP or anything. This is non-denominational. In fact, I'm glad you asked that, Patricia, because I will say this. I know we've got people coming in here from several different companies, and I will say, if you're in leadership, management, you're in some role where recruiting is part of your world, this is not the place for that. There's no recruiting in this Facebook group. There's no calling people afterwards. This is not your group. These are people you're in business with. These are people you're going to learn with and learn from. These are not your recruits. Okay. So just be clear. We'll kick you out of the group faster than anything else if you are abusing the people in here with any kind of forward pitch, if you will. So be aware of that. What questions does anybody have for any of us?
I know you want to ask about prospecting. Come on.
And if anybody has any comments, especially those that have graduated in the past, you want to talk a little bit about what you're most excited about, I'd love to hear that too.
Earlier, I'm in the remedial program.
Who's in the remedial program? I heard that.
Stacy. And I need to know what week we start and what week we end.
We start on the 24th of the month of January. We go the 24th, 25, 26, and then those same 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, each and every week until 7 weeks has transpired. And on the 8th week, we have just the Thursday wrap up. And on that Thursday wrap up, it's kind of bringing everything together. And we'll actually have a little graduation ceremony, more than likely. If you could see the goofy caps that people wore last time, you'll be very excited to be one of them.
And there's not a downside to continuing that schedule for the rest of your career, and just instead put in the activities during those time slots rather than the classroom. So keep that in mind. Rosalie Lines, you also spoke up. What did you want to share?
I was going to say, instead of using the term homework, maybe implementation of and applying the tools that are taught, and it's an application actually to build your business structure, put up the walls, install the tools. So it's really installation and application rather than homework.
I love it. I love that phrasing. We can adopt that. Let's put that together. Okay, so I just saw somebody said that they had a calendar that showed that it's only 5 weeks for conversation mastery. I'm going to say to the team, if there's something that we've got that's inaccurate, let's make sure we fix that. But it's all 7 sessions. I think there was a time when we had Robert involved, and he had a happening that didn't allow him to start, and we started him 2 weeks late, and we only got 5 weeks in, and probably that calendar has been held over. I'm not sure why, but it's possible. So I think we just posted it here for everybody. Class starts 24th, and of course you can see all the dates there. So make sure those are all in your calendar. We cannot send out a group invite. It does not work well in the Calendly or the calendars section. That way it like, if we make a change, it'll blow everybody's mind. So everybody's responsible. Put this into your calendar. If it's not on your calendar, Russ, what do we know? If it's not on the calendar, what?
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't
Every
exist. So
single
put it on your
time.
calendar.
Yeah. So Miss Nancy Darnell, I see a hand up over there. What you got?
So is there going to be any materials that we'll need to download for this class, much like Bold?
Oh boy.
Well, you know what? I am glad you asked that. I am glad you asked that. Thank you so much. So let me share something with you really quickly. And I'm going to do this. Hopefully I did that fast enough that nobody saw how many tabs I have open. And if you saw, do not tell anybody in my relationship. Oh, that would be Allison, that I had that many tabs open. I'm kidding, of course. So here's the deal.
You're not. She wouldn't like that.
That's really funny. That's really true, Andrew. All right, so let me take you through a couple things here real quickly. I'm going to answer the question though quickly. So here's our 5 coaches. Of course, agents get into the business for 2 reasons: time and money, and very quickly they have neither. So here's my big question for all of you, and this is what we're going to overcome. But I want to jump to the end of this just because I want you to get something. And that is, yeah. So here are the materials. You're going to see all these things. You're going to have all kinds of printouts and all kinds of workbooks, little mini books, ebooks, lots of things that will be part of this program, lots of tools in the toolbox, all kinds of programs that will work with your video, with your social, with your personal brochures, with your story writing, with your video writing, all of it, all of that's going to be yours. The social media audit guide, you'll love that. The 20 pro tips that get home sold fast and for top dollar. We're going to give you an actual ebook you can use yourself. The ultimate relationship marketing guide. None of you have seen that before. If you've been in the past, you've never seen this before. You thought you were going to, but you've never seen it before. And then of course we have the agent social media checklist and all the things that go into your Facebook, Google, yes, of course, Instagram,
YouTube.
all of it. YouTube, yes, all of that. You're going to love the one that's the top engagement post, 52-week planner of the top engagements you can use to really boost your algorithm and get more people to see your stuff. The avatar worksheet, so you know exactly how to do build your avatar. And then of course, the other thing is the brand building, the story building stuff. We're going to start off with your marketing cheat sheet. You'll have that in the first week. All these different tools are all going to be part of it. And 3 bonuses that nobody even knows about. I don't even know if the coaches all know this is here. We got the Inspired Expired program. Andrew, how many expireds were going on during the 2 years of the best market in real estate history?
Yeah, not too many.
Not too many. So now that the market has changed, what do? We brought out a booklet that's going to give you an ebook on a marketing approach, not a cold calling approach, a marketing approach to Inspireds. All excited? Say aye. I'm excited. How about a pre-listing package? Well, we haven't had to have a pre-listing package because, you know, we just kind of threw the market. If they called you, you just threw the listing together and bam, you were done. And of course, it sold so fast and there was no arguing. There was no debating. There was hardly any interviewing. But now we have a pre-listing package, and it's a marketing approach to a pre-listing package. And of course, some of you have never seen this before. This Be a Champion at Closing. It's an approach to making sure that during the last days of a transaction that you sweep in and become their superhero. So you emotionally tie to people. Yes, they like you already. Now they're going to love you, and you're going to make sure that you've got clients and referrals for the rest of your life. So those 3 brand new books just written are all going to be yours, as well as everything else that we already threw in there. How many are excited about that?
So Don, what is the channel? What is the way that they're ultimately going? I know they're not all coming at once. Where are they going to be able to get the materials along the way of the program?
Facebook, the Facebook group, the Gateway to Mastery, Winter 23. Facebook group. If you're not in there, you will get none of this. So again, don't think you can just kind of drop in and take the course. You got to get into the course. You can't see the classes on Tuesday unless you're in the Facebook group. Okay. So that said, I see a hand up for Michelle.
Yeah, I actually just want to comment and say I'm ready to start from last year when I started a rooster on the Gateway last week. Was it like
Time out, Michelle. Can anybody else not hear Michelle?
I can't hear
just
her.
crackles.
Michelle, I
Roboto.
think your internet, yeah, Mrs. Roboto, I think your internet may be off. I'm not sure what to tell you, but perhaps you can type us a note in the chat box and we'll see if we can answer that. I could not get what you were saying. Nancy, you had a question and you were the one that triggered the question about all this cool stuff.
Yeah, I have a good idea once in a while. So now I apologize if this question has already been answered. Is this available, this program, to non-EXP agents? And if so,
This is not an EXP program. This has nothing to do with EXP. We just have a lot of people that have bought it from EXP.
so if I've got a few people in
So
mind
this is
that probably really enjoy this.
Yeah, we have people from Keller Williams. We have people from Remax. I haven't looked to see what the roster contains, but it will definitely have people that are from all companies.
So would they just simply join the Facebook group, or is there another way in which they would get into this?
They have to buy a ticket. So let us know and we'll send you a link for them. In fact, Joyce or Maria, somebody, why don't you put the link for Gateway to Mastery Now.com and let them have that link. Okay, and that one you can send over to your friends and they can register, and we'd love to have them in here. And by the way, my best assessment, when you look at all the tools and the workshops, I mean, we charge between $8,800 and $23,000 to do these kinds of marketing programs for people. You're going to get so much stuff in here. This is worth easily $8,000 to $10,000. So for people who are paying, you know, the price for this, guys, it's way, way worth it. It's really going to be great for you. Other questions? We've got just seconds left. In fact, we're at the top of the hour. How many are excited about coming to? How many are excited about coming to the Gateway? I'll be right there, Russ. How many are excited about coming to the Gateway? Well, we are very excited to have you, of course. Russ, what do you got?
I'm excited.
So here's what I want to add, Don. Since everybody's on the Gateway to Mastery, I'll throw out a nugget. You don't have to wait until this class starts to get going. In fact, Don, you said they could start tomorrow, right?
I did say they could start tomorrow.
Every single day, Monday through Friday, I lead a conversation mastery workshop where we actually do the work, right, Celeste? That runs from 2 to 5 Central. And the reason I say tomorrow is because today, Client and I, you see Client here, are going to be working some video marketing stuff and see if we can get through that. And so tomorrow I'll be on there live, 2 to 5, Monday through Friday Central on CoachRuss.live. I am extending the invitation to all of you. If you're committed to Gateway to Mastery, I will commit to allowing you to get into that private group and having you involved in making conversations happen every single day. So for many of you, it's going to be follow-up. It's going to be conversations to people you know. That's what we want. We'll teach you how to do that in detail during the Gateway to Mastery. And like I started, quantity over quality, you could start the quantity now and start just getting into the activity. So the invitation is out there for CoachRuss.live, 2 to 5 o'clock Central.
I love that, Russ. That's a bonus. I love that. And while you may not have seen it, Stephanie Stovall was actually showing one of her marketing pieces from the last time. And I love that, Stephanie. Can't wait to see it on the big screen. Send me digital copies of it. I'll make sure it's included in the course. And I also wanted to just say to everybody, if you have not been at all involved in anything we do, ultimately, when things are done and you've built out and then you have the sustainable stuff, remember, tools are going to keep getting added. You're going to keep adding tools. It's like you add to a toolbox, or just like you add yeah, tool to a toolbox. If you have a hammer and a saw to start with, you can build some stuff. But if you have lots of things, you can build more stuff. You're going to keep adding tools. But our friends, the Whalens, I was just on the phone with them this morning. Their campaign is fantastic. It looks great. And if you realize that, through all of their things, these are the kinds of things we're going to have you developing, so that your website looks like, your social looks like, you're going to have continuity through everything, your direct mail, your past client stuff, your listing presentations, your ebooks, all of it's going to look exactly the same. You're going to have a brand that stands out. And by the way, put you in a place where people cannot forget who you are. They got to know you, like you, trust you, and by the way, remember you. So we're going to have a lot of fun together. We've got some great things coming. If you have people that you would like to get in the course, please get them registered. And the link is probably there somewhere. Somebody put it in the chat box.
Yep, it's in there. Gateway to Mastery Now.
Gateway to Mastery Now.com. Go there, get registered, or send somebody to get registered. You guys are all registered. Somebody to get registered. And if you're part of a group that's had a discount, any kind of a group discount, because there are people that have bought like lots of tickets, you may get a little bit of not a substantial, but a little bit of a break. Let us know, and we can add more people from that group if you're part of a group. All right, Russ, I can't wait to see you. I will be with you on your call starting today, actually. You said tomorrow. I'm going to be on the call starting today.
So run with it, my friend. I'll be there at 2 to get you guys started, and then I'm going to meet with client and work on video. So yeah,
I'm going to be with you, and then awesome. Many days, and between now and then, do that. Do your mental prep. Get your calendar set. Clear the deck. Make sure that you've got space available for the 90 minutes each day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And again, I'm not going to try and tell you which time zone because I have no idea where you are, but I'm going to say, make sure it's in the right time zone for your schedule. Get into the Facebook group and make sure you're in there, because that's where it's all going to start. And all your homework's going to be in there. And in the meantime, guys, we're really excited about being with you for the next few weeks. And I absolutely will commit to you. You've got coaches who are on your side. We're going to help you build, help you grow. This year, 2023, is going to be a very different kind of year. There will be people who will leave this business. We want to make sure that you guys are not just getting through, but excelling, exceeding any goals that you've set, and creating a new future for yourself by building a business. So thanks for being here. We look forward to hanging out. Coaches, Dio, love you. I will see you soon. Andrew, you're the best. Love you too. And Russ, I don't know if you're still there. Love you. I love you too. Even you, Russ. I'll see you soon, guys. Bye, everyone.
See you.